Oh dear, a winter wonderland in New York. A record snowfall has a few perks like tobogganing in Central Park. But this man, I think, is shoveling snow at this point, so I'm not sure how much he's enjoying it. Now, New York City got more than 50 centimeters of snow over the weekend, and it's in the cleanup stage right now with flights resuming, power back to thousands of homes that had blackouts. The snow isn't over yet, though. There's more forecasts for this week. Oh dear. Now there's a bit of a chill in the United States. It doesn't have to do with snow. It's all about ice. Here you go. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Okay. So, one set of these fans were destined for disappointment, of course. Oh, wow, that looks like a pretty tight number for Canada. Okay, so host Canada faced off against the U.S. for Olympic gold in Vancouver and for hockey supremacy. And it went to overtime to decide it, but when the puck 3-2 victory for Canada, that gave Canada a Winter Games record gold medal haul of 14 as Vancouver 2010 wrapped up. Germany was second with 10. The U.S. and Norway ended with 9 apiece. And in terms of the overall medals tally, the U.S. came out a big winner as well. Although they may not feel like it right now, they should be proud of those 37 medals overall. Germany was again second with 30, and Canada came in third with 26. So 37 is a record, so I'm pretty proud of my Paul.
Yes.
They did pretty well. I mean, it was about owning the podium. It looked pretty bleak going into the final weekend, I have to say, because we were nowhere near the top in terms of gold medal hauls and also for overall medals. But, you know, the hockey team really surprised and stepped up and actually, you know, did Canada proud.
Pretty scary, though. 24 seconds to go, and suddenly it's all square.
Yeah, it was. You're right. 30 seconds to go in regulation, and then you had a U.S. team member scoring at that point. Over time. Luckily, thank goodness, Mr. Crosby stood up and actually fired in that goal, so we won the gold medal. But if it went to, you know, shootouts, I don't know, that would have been
shootouts are painful. I mean, I'm well used to them. Being a Brit and being a soccer supporter, penalty shootouts have been the eternal, to the eternal dismay of British supporters. We're always losing penalty shootouts, and it's a horrible way to go out. But there you go. Also worth noting that that victory means that Barack Obama has to buy the Canadian Prime Minister. If it had been the other way around, Canada would have bought the U.S. a crate of Yuengling from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yuengling.
But this time, so double victory, gold medal and a crate of beer.
Yuengling, not a bud, is that right?
No, Yuengling, yeah, the oldest beer in the U.S.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, let's get to Mike Buteau, our reporter in Vancouver, who was at the hockey arena during this huge victory for the Canadians. Let me just ask you, Mike, a lot of people are talking about the problems going to the Vancouver Olympics. You know, Zamboni's not working, Torch is not lighting, but in the gold medal hockey game, it makes it all up, doesn't it?
You know, it's funny. They talked about a lot of different problems. I'm actually here at the closing ceremony as it's going on, and they opened the closing ceremony along the way that they closed the opening ceremony. One of the torches wouldn't go up during the opening ceremony, so they started the closing ceremony by bringing that fourth torch up, and they had kind of sparks going off, and they poked fun at themselves. And you know, it was one of those things in the first week that everybody was the worst games ever, and you know, obviously tragedy happened on the luge track. You know, it was not a good start here in Vancouver, but you threw out the numbers that you said there just before, and from Canada's point of view, they didn't own the podium overall, but they owned the gold medal podium. So you can argue that they may have won these games, and definitely Sidney Crosby joins the hockey lore of Mario and Wayne Gretzky and Paul Henderson, all the greats that have come from Canada. This goal will stand in a definite fitting moment for the country that got off to a pretty bad start here at the games.
Yeah, he's a huge hero right now in the country, Mike. Let me just ask you about the games as a whole. As you say, you know, the Canadians obviously going into this with the Canadian spirit, being able to laugh off the mishaps. But overall, how are people feeling about this? Are they proud? Is this a successful games?
Well, here at the closing ceremony, John Furlong, who is the head of the Vancouver Organized Olympic Committee, and mentioned Alexander Bilodeau, who had the first gold medal for the country, and then he mentioned the last gold medal won by Sidney Crosby and the Canadian hockey team. And as he said it, the entire BC Place dome, the stadium here, erupted, and you know, basically interrupted him in his speech, and he had to wait for the standing ovation to end and the flags to stop waving. So it seems that everybody has gotten over that initial disappointment, you know, gotten well over it.
All right, Mike, enjoy the closing. Buteau joining us live on the line from Vancouver. And there you have it, Paul, the 21st Winter Games edition coming to a close. Now, how did Britain do?
Great Britain. Not so great.
GB, yeah.
1 gold. Amy Williams, the women's skeleton, which is a great event. It's a real sport.
Oh.
Not much equipment, which is why it's called the skeleton. But yeah, she did superbly. But the men's curling team, big disappointment.
Oh, the curling
Even sent
team,
the Norwegian
right.
team stone down instead of their own in the round robin.
Yeah,
So,
but you got to be proud of moving the podium.
congratulations to Canada.
Thank
it's a record. Well done.
There you go. I'm very proud. All right, that does it for this edition of The Edge, and that does it for the 21st Winter Games. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Susan Lee. Take care.